It was a Tuesday, just past midnight, August 5th, 2025. The kind of night when the world feels suspended, as if holding its breath. Most of Harmony Creek was asleep, unaware of the secrets the darkness was about to reveal. Rain battered the windows of Harmony Creek, relentless and cold, but the real storm was brewing inside a small house on Willow Lane. Each drop seemed to echo the tension building within its walls. A phone buzzed on Sarah Jenkins's nightstand, its vibration slicing through the silence of her bedroom. The sound was jarring, unnatural at this hour. She blinked awake and glanced at the screen. A single text from her best friend Maya. One word, all caps, help. The letters seemed to burn into her eyes, urgent and raw. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest. She called Maya, once, twice, 3 times. Each ring felt longer than the last, straight to voicemail, every time. Panic crept in, cold and sharp. Maya wasn't one for pranks. She hated drama. If she sent that message, something was truly wrong. Sarah's mind raced with possibilities, each one worse than the last. Sarah felt powerless, the distance between them suddenly immense. She wanted to run to Maya, but all she could do was wait and hope for a reply. In Maya's house, she hid in her closet, knees pulled to her chest, barely daring to breathe. The storm outside nearly drowned out the slow, deliberate footsteps inside. Each step was a threat, a promise of danger. With trembling hands, Maya typed that desperate word, help, and pressed send. The silence that followed was suffocating, broken only by her own shallow breaths. Sarah sent frantic texts. Maya, are you okay? What's going on? Her fingers flying across the screen. No reply. The waiting was agony. The word help glowed on her screen, a digital ghost haunting the darkness. It was a cry that demanded an answer, but none came. The rain kept falling as if trying to wash away a sin not yet discovered. It drummed a steady rhythm, indifferent to the fear inside. But some stains never wash away. Some moments leave marks that linger long after the storm has passed. In the darkness, Maya's plea hung in the air, unanswered. The silence was heavy, pressing in from all sides. The minutes crawled by for Sarah, each one heavier than the last. Every tick of the clock was a reminder of her helplessness. The town slept, unaware that everything had just changed. Harmony Creek's peaceful facade was about to crack. The storm outside was nothing compared to the terror inside that house. Lightning flashed, illuminating shadows that seemed to move on their own. A single word, sent in fear, would haunt everyone who read it. It was a warning, a plea, and a mystery all at once. The night swallowed Harmony Creek, and Maya's voice faded into the storm. Somewhere a secret was being kept, and a life was hanging in the balance. The world would wake to a mystery. The sun would rise, but the darkness would linger in the hearts of those left behind, and nothing would ever be the same. In Harmony Creek, the echoes of that midnight text would haunt the dawn. Who was Maya Thompson? To her family and friends, she was a beacon of light. 22, with a smile that could disarm anyone, Maya dreamed of being a veterinarian. She was the responsible one, the friend you called for advice or comfort. Her life was simple, filled with love and on track. Final year of pre-vet, top grades, adored by professors. She volunteered at the animal shelter, planned a future with her boyfriend Liam, and cherished her close-knit circle. That Tuesday was ordinary classes, lunch with Sarah, library, a call to her mom. Nothing seemed amiss. No hint of fear, no sign of trouble. Just the normal, happy Maya everyone knew. But beneath the surface was something lurking? Was there a shadow she didn't see? Her world was small, safe, and predictable. She had no known enemies, took no risks. Yet, in the dead of night, that safe world shattered. Only questions remained, and a void where Maya's light used to be. The ordinary had become unthinkable. Maya lived alone in a small bungalow on Maple Street, a quiet, tree-lined road where neighbors nodded politely but rarely stopped to chat. The street was peaceful, almost sleepy, with the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant hum of passing cars. Her house was modest, its white paint a little faded, but her garden was her pride, a patchwork of flowers and herbs she tended every morning. For Maya, living alone was a new adventure, a chance to discover her own strength and independence. The bungalow was her sanctuary, a place where she felt safe and in control, until that stormy night changed everything. The storm raged outside, wind howling through the trees, rain lashing against the windows and turning the street into a rushing river. Thunder boomed, shaking the walls, and lightning cast eerie shadows across the rooms. It was the perfect cover for someone who didn't want to be seen, someone who moved quietly, blending into the chaos of the storm. Inside, every creak and rattle became a threat, The old house seemed to groan and whisper, each sound amplified by Maya's growing unease. Was it just the storm, or something more sinister lurking in the darkness? Maya strained to listen, heart pounding as the wind battered the walls. The power flickered, plunging the house into brief moments of darkness. Shadows danced on the walls, twisting into strange shapes that seemed almost alive. Maya was trapped by the relentless weather and by whoever had entered her home. She held her breath, hiding, hoping the intruder would leave. When police arrived, the front door was unlocked, not forced. There were no signs of a struggle, just an uneasy silence hanging in the air. The TV glowed in an empty living room, its flickering light casting long shadows across the vacant sofa. Everything was neat, untouched, except for one thing. Maya's brown loafer, lying on its side in the hallway, as if dropped in haste. A small, ordinary object. But in that moment, it screamed that something was terribly wrong. It was a silent cry for help. A clue left behind. The house, once a haven filled with warmth and laughter, was now a crime scene, shrouded in mystery and fear. The first clues were subtle but chilling. Fingerprints on the door, a faint muddy footprint, a sense of something lost forever. Someone had come in, maybe invited, maybe not. And now, Maya was gone, leaving only questions and a lingering sense of dread behind. Sarah called 911, her voice trembling as she described the text and her fear. She could barely get the words out, her hands shaking as she clutched the phone. The operator's calm voice was a lifeline, but Sarah's mind raced with worst-case scenarios, her heart pounding in her chest. Police arrived at Maple Street, the storm fading, the house eerily quiet. The flashing lights cast long shadows across the wet pavement, illuminating the silent neighborhood. Officers moved quickly, their radios crackling in the damp air. The door was unlocked. Inside, cold, empty, undisturbed, except for that single shoe, lying abandoned in the hallway. It was as if someone had left in a hurry, or been taken by surprise. Maya's purse, keys, and wallet were untouched. Nothing seemed out of place, yet everything felt wrong. The ordinary objects now seemed ominous, silent witnesses to whatever had happened. Her car was in the driveway, glistening with rain, as if waiting for her return. There was no sign of struggle, no sign of where she'd gone. It was as if she'd vanished, leaving everything behind. The house felt frozen in time, every detail untouched, every shadow deeper than before. Officers searched every room, including the closet, empty. They called out Maya's name, their voices echoing through the silent halls, but there was no answer. By dawn, Maya's parents arrived, panic etched on their faces. Tears streamed down her mother's cheeks as her father pleaded for answers, desperate for any sign of their daughter. Friends and neighbors gathered, police tape marking the boundary between normal life and nightmare. Whispers filled the air, fear and confusion spreading through the crowd. The search expanded into the woods, volunteers and law enforcement combing the rain-soaked earth. Flashlights flickered between trees, hope mingling with dread as the hours dragged on. Then, a clue, footprints in the mud near a back window. The prints were fresh, pressed deep into the soft ground, leading investigators to a chilling realization. Large, not Maya's, leading from the woods to the house and back again. Whoever made them had come and gone in the night, unseen. Who did they belong to? A guest, a stranger, a predator? The questions multiplied, each more unsettling than the last. The footprints were a silent testament to a visitor who had come and gone, taking Maya with them. The evidence was haunting, a puzzle with pieces still missing. The search was on, but answers were scarce. Every shadow seemed to hold a secret, every sound a possible clue. The town held its breath. Fear crept into every home, and hope began to fade as the night wore on. The mystery deepened with every passing hour. Time seemed to slow, each minute stretching into eternity. And Maya was still missing. The search had only just begun, and the answers remained just out of reach. News of Maya's disappearance spread through Harmony Creek like wildfire. Fear gripped the town. What once felt safe now felt exposed. Parents clung to their children, neighbors eyed strangers, locks were checked and rechecked. Maya's face was everywhere, on TV, on flyers, in every window. The word help became a chilling mantra. Police were flooded with tips, theories, and sightings. A task force was formed. Volunteers searched fields and forests. Businesses donated supplies. A candlelight vigil filled the town square, hope flickering in the darkness. But as days turned to weeks, hope began to fade. The search slowed, the mood shifted to sorrow. No suspects, no leads, just strange clues and growing frustration. Maya's disappearance became a legend, a ghost story, a scar on Harmony Creek. The town would never be the same. With few facts, rumors filled the void. Police interviewed everyone close to Maya, her boyfriend Liam, distraught but with a solid alibi. Witnesses offered confusing accounts, a dark van, a scream in the night. Was it connected, or just coincidence? Maya's digital life was combed through. Nothing unusual until detectives found deleted messages from an unknown number. Was Maya communicating with someone no one knew? The footprints in the mud, men's size 12, deep, but a dead end. Each clue only muddied the waters. The investigation became a web of unreliable memories and digital whispers. Detectives wondered if they were chasing a phantom. The truth remained elusive. Days turned to weeks, then months. The police tape came down, search parties disbanded, news crews moved on. For Maya's family, time stood still. The investigation grew cold. Leads dried up, tips led nowhere. The mysterious van and the owner of the work boots were never found. The case file thickened, but the central question remained. What happened to Maya? The task force was disbanded, the case handed to a lone detective. Occasionally, false hope surfaced. A body found, a confession, always ending in disappointment. Maya's story became a cautionary tale, a dark chapter in town history. The house was rented to new tenants, life moved on, but Maya's ghost lingered. The trail was cold, the truth buried in silence. Harmony Creek would never forget. For the world, Maya's story became a mystery. For her parents, it was a wound that never healed. Every day was a battle, her room left untouched, a museum of a life interrupted. Carol and Tom became reluctant activists, chasing leads, keeping Maya's story alive. Anniversaries and birthdays were the hardest. Balloons released, silent prayers sent skyward. Their pain was constant, their home filled with absence. Sarah, haunted by guilt, changed her life's path, friendships fractured under the weight of loss. Time did little to dull the ache. There was no closure, only limbo. They scanned crowds, hoping to see Maya's face. Their grief was not sharp, but a dull, chronic throb of uncertainty. It was a life sentence of not knowing. The world moved on, but for Maya's family, time stood still. The ache of absence was their constant companion. The question of what happened to Maya haunted every day. Maya Thompson's story ends where it began, with a question, a void, and the echo of a single word, help. She was never found. No arrests. The case remains open, a stack of papers and a haunting mystery. The footprints have washed away, memories faded, but the silence remains. What happened inside that house? Was it someone she knew or a stranger in the storm? For her family, the lack of answers is torture. All that's left is a memory, a photograph, and that final desperate word. Sometimes the darkness wins, and justice is never served. Maya's story, and her haunting cry for help, will echo forever.